Weak men are not weak because they cry. They are weak because they avoid responsibility. That is the truth nobody wants to say out loud anymore. Weakness today does not always look fragile. Sometimes it looks comfortable, distracted, entertained, passive. A weak man can look calm while his entire life quietly falls apart underneath him. You say you want discipline, but you quit the second things stop feeling convenient. You say you want respect, but you avoid difficult conversations because conflict makes you uncomfortable. You say you want success, but your habits are built around entertainment, comfort, and escape. Every day you delay responsibility, your excuses get stronger. And now you have a dangerous cycle. Stress appears. You avoid it. You distract yourself. Then you hate yourself afterward. That is not peace. That is weakness disguised as comfort. You are constantly negotiating with your own standards. Tomorrow. Later. One more day.
Meanwhile, your confidence keeps collapsing because deep down, you know you are capable of more. Nothing destroys a man faster than watching himself become someone he no longer respects. Weakness is not genetic, it is trained. Psychology has shown for decades that avoidance reinforces fear. The more you run from discomfort, the more powerful it becomes in your mind. Eventually, even small challenges feel overwhelming because your nervous system has been conditioned to retreat. That means weakness grows through repetition. Avoiding responsibility repeatedly. Avoiding pressure repeatedly. Avoiding pain repeatedly. Every excuse you repeat becomes part of your identity. And eventually you stop saying, "I failed." You start saying, "This is just who I am." That is the moment weakness becomes dangerous. Because now you are no longer fighting your habits. You are defending them. You feel resistance and immediately look for escape. Hard workout? Maybe tomorrow. Difficult task? Scroll first. Stress? Entertainment? Loneliness? Distraction. Your entire life becomes built around emotional avoidance. Weak men do not collapse because life is hard. They collapse because they never train themselves to endure hard things consistently. Pain tolerance matters, mentally, physically, emotionally. Concrete action. Every single day, deliberately do one uncomfortable thing. Cold shower, hard workout, awkward conversation, long study session without your phone. Train your brain to stop panicking every time discomfort appears. Because if you cannot control yourself under pressure, pressure controls you. So the question is, are you building resilience or rehearsing avoidance? You want confidence without discipline, respect without standards, success without sacrifice. That fantasy has destroyed millions of men. You want life to improve while refusing to become stronger. Weak men love motivation because motivation lets them feel productive without actually changing. They consume endlessly, podcasts, videos, quotes, but when it is time to execute, silence, concrete action. For the next 30 days, consume less and produce more. Less scrolling, more building, less talking, more action. Track one measurable habit daily. Workouts completed, hours studied, sales calls made, pages written, real progress. Not emotional fantasies, because life does not reward intentions, it rewards execution. So the question is, are you addicted to improvement or addicted to the idea of improvement? And listen carefully. Maybe nobody taught you this. Maybe you grew up around weakness, excuses, blame, avoidance. Maybe you watched people cope instead of confront. That conditioning is real, but that is exactly why most men stay trapped. They use their past as explanation, then slowly turn it into permission. And the moment pain becomes your excuse instead of your fuel, your growth stops cold. That is the line you cannot cross. You tell yourself you will change. Then you quit 3 days later. You say you will wake up early. You snooze. You say you will stay focused. You get distracted instantly. You say you are serious, but your actions keep exposing weakness. Every promise you break to yourself damages your self-respect. That matters more than you realize. Confidence is built through evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself under pressure. Concrete action. Shrink the goal if necessary, but never break the promise. Cannot train for an hour? Train for 15 minutes. Cannot study for 3 hours? Study for 30. But finish the rep. Discipline is less about intensity and more about identity. So the question is, Does your behavior prove you are reliable or unstable? Weak men hate accountability because accountability destroys excuses. That is why they blame everything: their childhood, their boss, the economy, their anxiety, their circumstances, anything except their choices. Accountability is terrifying because it forces you to confront the one person responsible for your life, you. And yes, life can be unfair, but unfair does not remove responsibility. Concrete action. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Replace it with, "What can I control right now?" That single shift changes everything. Because victims wait, leaders adapt. Responsibility feels heavy at first, until you realize it gives you power back. So the question is, are you carrying responsibility or hiding behind excuses? Weak men drift, wake up, consume, escape, sleep, repeat, no mission, no structure, no standards. And without purpose, temptation wins easily. A man without direction becomes a slave to comfort, because if nothing matters deeply to you, distraction becomes your lifestyle. Concrete action. Choose one mission bigger than your feelings: fitness, business, mastery, leadership, providing for family. Then organize your days around that mission relentlessly, not emotionally. Systematically. Purpose gives suffering meaning. Without meaning, pressure crushes people. So the question is, what are you suffering for right now? Now this becomes personal. Who are you becoming every time life gets difficult? Because pressure does not create character, it reveals it. When discomfort appears, do you attack it or escape it? Do you keep your word or negotiate with weakness? Do you move with discipline or wait for motivation like a child waiting for permission? Imagine becoming the type of man who no longer fears responsibility because responsibility became his source of strength. Sharp mind, strong body, calm under pressure, reliable under stress. Imagine walking into chaos without collapsing emotionally because you trained yourself to handle difficulty instead of hiding from it. That is what real strength looks like. Not fake toughness, not loud arrogance, not pretending to dominate people. Real strength is self-control under pressure. And understand this carefully. The strongest men are not emotionless. They simply refuse to let emotion control their standards. Weak men seek comfort. Strong men seek growth. That difference changes entire lives. The call to war. Outrow, 13,015 now. So here is your challenge. Today, stop avoiding one responsibility you know you need to face. 1. The hard conversation, the workout, the overdue task, the financial problem, the commitment you keep delaying. Handle it immediately, because every time you confront discomfort instead of escaping it, you become harder to break. And understand something most people never learn. Strength is not built in massive moments. It is built in tiny decisions repeated daily. The decision to wake up, to train, to focus, to keep your word, to act despite resistance. That is how ordinary men become dangerous. Stop waiting for life to force you to grow. Choose growth before pain chooses it for you. Because eventually, weakness collects interest, and one day the bill arrives all at once. The man you become is being shaped by what you tolerate daily, not what you dream about occasionally. Next battle? The brutal truth about why comfort destroys ambition, and how disciplined men build lives weak people only fantasize about.